What's going on, guys? Hey, it's Anthony with the Wrenched Out Garage, and today we've got something super cool going into the 6th gen Camaro, so stay tuned. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Again, this is Anthony with the Wrenched Out Garage. Today we got a special product from 6LE Designs, and that is the gauge overlay for the 6th gen Camaro. So let's take a quick look at this guy. We're gonna be replacing the speedometer. Let me see if I can get this close enough. We've got both the speedo and the RPMs right there. And what we opted for was this kind of carbon fiber finish. And then of course the Wrenched Out Garage emblem up top. Now you can get yours custom done however you want it at 6LE Designs. I will have a link to the site down below. So today we're going to go ahead and install these guys. Now you will need some tools. Torx T10 7mm socket, ratchet, preferably a magnetic extension. I do have my trim popping tools. I would suggest if you guys are doing any kind of interior trim work at all, whether it's on a Camaro or anything else, make sure grab some of those trim kits. They're super cheap to include poppers. I am using some tape and a marker just to mark off a couple of the cables I'll be pulling off the back of the radio, just so it's easier for me to reinstall. So I'll just mark them, you know, lower, right, left, whatever it is. So again, we're gonna do the gauge overlays for the 2017 Camaro SS. This is available, and they have a bunch of really cool designs and colors at 6LE Designs. So make sure, take a moment, hit the link below. And if this is something you're looking at purchasing, don't forget to use the Wrenched20 in the coupon promo code, and you'll save yourself 20%. So let's go ahead and jump in the Camaro. I'm gonna try to light the Camaro as much as possible. I am gonna be running multiple cameras just so you guys can see this. I will be going rather quickly because we are taking apart the whole dash. Now, I have done other videos to where we did take apart the instrumentation, where we did the push button. We're gonna be going further than the push button today. So again, I'm gonna be going fairly quick. So let's just go ahead and get in the Camaro. And all right, guys, so here we are. We're in the Camaro, and we've got all of our tools situated. So we're going to start off by taking off the center instrumentation, and then we're going to dive over to the side carbon fiber dash, and then we're going to work our way back. We're working essentially right and left. So let's get inside and get moving. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and just pop the center piece out, and then we are gonna just continue moving forward from there. Again, I use these plastic trim poppers. I use them quite a bit, and I'll continue to. I've also thrown in some other ones, and then if you just kind of slide right under it, pull up a little bit, it pops right out just like that. Very simple, very easy. Just the two clips. I'm gonna put that on the floor on the side, and then once we get in there, we have our 2 7mm right under it. So we'll go ahead. Most of the bolts that well, actually all of the bolts that we're going to encounter on this one are the 7mm, so it makes it very easy. So now that we've got the entertainment system, we're just going to ease it forward, let it kind of hang a little bit. And as you can kind of see here, the back is a whole bunch of wires. And then you do have multiple connectors that are the same. So the left side and the right side do have 2 different connectors. That's the reason I grabbed this tape. You want either a tiny screwdriver or something nice and flat. Again, you want to be gentle with this stuff. I know it's kind of everybody thinks it's just a given, but when you're in here doing this, you definitely don't want to go from doing one job to turning it into something completely different when you break something. this. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna put this in the back here for now. So we do have this stuff, that's all undone as you can see. So this is done. Now we're gonna go ahead and take the 7mm out of the side dash compartment located right here. This way we can get this section out. Because essentially what we're doing is taking off this big plastic framing that runs throughout the front of the front here. I'll put this also in the back, kind of out of the way. And as you can see, so now you see this instrumentation panel, this big plastic section here. Now, part of what we're going to be removing will include obviously your push buttons and everything else, because essentially we're going to pop this trim out. We're going to pop this whole trim section out, and then we're going to pull the instrumentation out. That's really the goal. So we've got quite a few of these 7mm bolts. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the face, and then there's a couple other back in the back side of it. So let's just go ahead and get going here. So it's just pinned in. There we go. All right, so this little piece right here just has pops in it. And essentially, we just pulled out this whole trim piece. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on the ground. And then now what we're gonna end up doing is taking out ultimately this whole front cluster. So this whole section right here is what we're gonna take out. Now there is 2 bolts all the way in the back, right on the top here. That's where it's going to get a little bit tricky. And in fact, I have to get an even longer extension. All right, guys, so the trick with this one, because these are all the way in the back here, is going to be first, let me get a light so I can, let me grab one of my panel lights here so I can see it. There it is. So it's actually, it sits right under these tabs. So there's 2 tabs on the top, and that is where it sits. So the idea, if you can, is unscrew it and see if you can get a magnet on it, either while you're unscrewing it so it doesn't fall, very gently pull that out. So once you get it unscrewed, kind of have your magnet sitting up against it, pull the socket out a little bit, get your magnet then kind of sitting on it. It's just because doing that may sound kind of ridiculous, but it's going to be a lot better than you dropping the bolt and then you having to screw with that for 20 minutes trying to figure out what happened. Just pulls forward. It's one plug right here on the top. which is like almost impossible to see. Pop it forward. Should unlock it. Oops. It's very kind of difficult to see. There we go. So it just pops forward. Oops. And that's it. So here it is. So now we're going to pull this out and we're going to end up taking the instrumentation apart. So let's get over to the workbench and take a look at this. All right, guys, so we got the cluster out of the car. Now here it is. Let's kind of do a quick comparison. Stock, the new ones. I know there's a little bit of glare, but soon enough these will be in the car. Now it's time to go ahead and pull out that T10 Torx because we're going to be taking off the back plate. So here it is. Let's go ahead, flip it upside down here. So there it is. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 T10s that we're going to go ahead and remove. There. Oh. Come on. There we go. All right, so now these two are separated. So you can put this to the side. And the thing that you really have to pay attention to here is, let me be very careful with this. There's obviously the screen that you watch out of or see all your information. There's your two gauges. We're gonna actually utilize, let's see if I can get the camera close, these two markers on here. Now, when I say utilize them, if you look at the new overlays, there's the cutouts and the markers for them there. So these guys are pretty much, here we are, and just be careful with them. And what we're gonna do is be real careful and try to slide right under. Oops, slide right under. There we go, oops. So we pull the pin out. There's this pin. Let's pull this pin out. Oops. And again, you need to be careful. Oops. There it goes. So there it is. So we'll put the pins to the side. And here we are. So again, this is what it looks like. Now what we're gonna do is go ahead and remove these face plates right here. So we've got our markers. I wanna ensure that the markers line up. So I'm gonna go ahead. It should be right below. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. So these, as you can see, are already kind of coming up. The stock one was already kind of, yeah, they're both kind of popping up already. So all we're gonna do is go ahead and pull it up. Just be careful. We're going to use these tabs on the side for the tabs that are actually on this. This does come with the adhesive on this piece of paper, and you know, it's kind of a flat black. You know, really the design different from this one to this one, you guys, I guess we'll have to see in the end when we do a comparison. So let's go ahead and take the adhesive off on this one. And again, try not to touch the adhesive. Don't stick your hands on the bottom. So as you can see here, I'm gonna start off right there. And then ultimately what we're gonna do moving forward is essentially everything that we talked about in reverse. So I'm gonna put this pin, slide the needle back on. Oops. There it is. Slide the other needle back on. There it is. Nice and tight. So there it is in the gauge cluster. Now obviously in this one, it does look similar to stock, unlit, but it, again, I think it adds obviously the custom element because it's got the wrenched out garage emblem in it. So I'm loving that. Let's flip this guy back over and go ahead and install, again, the large ones on the exterior. And really for the reinstall, it's, again, just a reverse process of what we already did. Guys, so we just wrapped up installing the gauge overlay for the 2017 Camaro SS, and it came out very nice, and it's a fairly simple install. Now, a couple of tips or tricks that I ran into, obviously post-installing, because that was the first time I had installed those, is A, make sure that you have one of these trim kits available. I'll put a couple of links, they're super cheap, down below. It's gonna help you from scuffing and tearing up your dash. The other thing is get one of these pen magnets or extendable magnets if you don't have one already. They're cheap. I'll put a link to one of those down below as well. You're really gonna need those for this install and a lot of other interior installs that you may be doing with the Camaro or other vehicles. Now, another tip that I suggest is when you have the gauge all the way taken apart, make sure that you dial the needles. And what I mean by that is take the needle and see where it starts and then see where it ends before reinstalling it. Now this can be done, and it should be done fairly gently, and it has to be compressed all the way. Now of course you're going to want them to drop a little bit below the start of the meter lines, because as you see when your car starts up, it goes from below all the way over, and you want to get that as close as possible. Now if you didn't, you're going to be able to tell fairly quick after you do the install, because your speedometer is going to be considerably off, your RPMs are going to be off by quite a bit. Now to dial that in, again, you just need to tweak it and adjust it just a little bit. It'll just take a couple of minutes while you have the cluster out on your table and you're working on it. Now this product was brought to you by 6LE Designs. These guys did a great job. They do offer some gradient colors. In fact, I think if I do a replacement, I would like to go to gradient because the carbon fiber look that I decided to run with came out a little darker than I had anticipated, along with my logos, and the back lighting doesn't, I think my logo was a little bit too big, but that's okay. I'll be looking at possibly changing it. I don't know. I want to drive the vehicle a little bit more, get see what I like and what I don't like about it as far as the new instrumentation. I do think it's a great upgrade. It's fairly simple and it can be custom tailored to your vehicle. So if you have hash marks or if you have some kind of accenting colors, that's a great way to make the car pop with just a simple upgrade like that. And it's also subtle enough to where not a lot of people are going to notice it right out of the gate. It's not an exterior modification and it's not an interior modification that just sticks right out. So it's kind of a nice thing. And of course, you as the driver gets to see it all the time. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Wrenched Out Garage. All the links for these products and all the products that I've mentioned are down below. Make sure if you're stopping by 6LE Designs, we've done quite a few installs on their products. Use the Wrenched20 code and you're gonna get 20% off. So that is a good deal if you're looking at getting something from those guys. In addition to that, the link to their product, and again, any of the other products that we mentioned in this video are linked down below. So go ahead and shoot over to 6LE's website. Check out the gauges. If you're looking at any other products, they offer an assortment of those as well. We do appreciate you guys stopping by the Wrenched Out Garage. Now we do install videos and we also have our weekly Garage Talk videos where I'm talking or doing something with the Camaro. I'm doing moto vlogs, working on the garage, or talking about new or old cars. So make sure, hit that subscribe button. It's at the bottom of the screen or at the end of the video. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and share if you ever do care to do so. So again, I hope you enjoyed this and we'll see you guys in the next video.